on. Okay. So I was not able to go live on my business page for some reason, so I'm gonna go live here. Okay, welcome. I feel really inspired to share some information with you guys because I have been living out an experience, as I always do before I share something with you guys. I always put myself in the space of experiencing what I want to teach because I'm super passionate about teaching. I'm super passionate about helping people navigate their spiritual journey, considering the fact that I have been on this journey for a very long time. It's been a very long time. I was actually thinking today about how my spiritual journey started in my early 20s. And they say that your 20s is the time of your life where you go through all of your trials and tribulations. It's like the time where you mess up. It's the time where you are just experiencing your life. And you have to fall on your face over and over again to discover yourself, right? So I did that a lot. Fell on my face a lot. I've had some of the craziest experiences. Leading up into the ending of my 20s, like I would say 28, between 28 and 30, a massive shift happened. Some people will call it is it a solar return? I don't know. I think it's called a solar return. Where between the ages of 28 and 30, you are shifting out of an old identity into a new one. And that can be really hard, really rocky, because your 30s is meant for buckling down and taking everything that you've experienced in your 20s and putting that into practice. And also, I've come upon information recently about stewarding our gifts. Our 30s are really about stewarding our gifts. It's about taking care of what we learned in our 20s and coming into knowing your purpose into your 30s. And I am just speaking from my own experience, but don't feel like that specific timeline has to apply to you. Everybody's experience and everyone's timeline is going to be different. So you're not behind, you're not too late, but you can pass up on what's being given to you if you're not paying attention and doing the work. I think that as long as you're doing the work and you're trying your best and you're actively healing, you're actively growing, and you're actively ascending and transmuting the energies that you're experiencing, then you don't really have to worry much about it, because everyone has a specific spiritual contract, where you are in full activation mode, and no matter what you do, whatever age that is supposed to happen, it's going to happen at that age. Some may be ready for the activation, others may not be. So I said all that to say, now that I'm 33, I'm officially stewarding my gifts. I'm officially in the space of completely understanding that healing is one part of the journey, but it isn't supposed to be all of your journey. It isn't supposed to be where you spend all of your life focusing on. Because I have noticed that the word healing and being on the healing journey can become a security blanket for a lot of us to not move past heavier circumstances and stepping out of that comfort zone of being so comfortable in saying I'm on my healing journey. I think a lot of us become so comfortable with saying that we kind of pass up on opportunities and potentially sabotage, a new beginning a lot of the times because we're so comfortable, like I said, staying in the space of healing and being on the healing journey. Some of us may even use I'm healing to avoid addressing things, to avoid confrontation, which I believe confrontation is healthy. I don't think that you should walk around being combative, but I do believe that confrontation in general is healthy. I think that you should always address something if you are not in agreement with it. I don't think that you should conform to something that you are not in agreement with. Because to a degree, depending on what it is, that can be detrimental to your journey and how you're showing up in your own integrity. So, as I'm stewarding my gifts, there was a question I asked the collective recently, and I was asking about how we can shift into discovering the full embodiment of alignment. How can we come into full alignment with our path, with our purpose? Because that is where we can find ourselves on the receiving end of everything that involves our highest timeline. And if you've been doing all this healing work, you know how tired it can be. Like, it can be so tiring when you're just constantly in this space of healing and you just kind of want to get out of it. You want to be in the space of now embodying and receiving. So I asked the question, how do you do that without doing candle magic, without reaching out to another higher level spiritual practitioner? Because if I believe that I'm the altar, if I believe that I am the power and I carry the power and I can activate my gifts because it's been put into me, and I am the representation of God, I am the representation of Creator Source, then I truly don't need anything outside of myself to be in my full power. I don't. So I had to sit with that. I had to take a step back and live out some experiences to fully understand what does that look like. And of course, I came upon Ayurveda. Ayurveda is an Indian practice that has caught my eye in the past year or so, back in 2025. I was writing my book, The Quantum Ascension Workbook, which is on Amazon. Please go and grab that book, okay? Because it is a 90-day ascension workbook that will shift your timeline. It happened with me because anything I do, if I'm putting the information out, I'm doing the work. I'm experiencing it myself too. So I sat with the 90-day Quantum Ascension Workbook and I did all the work day by day by day. One of the hardest things I was dealing with and had trouble overcoming was consistency. And that put me on path to consistency. That level of achievement in one way could be looked at as small, but knowing that I was struggling with consistency felt so rewarding that I transmuted the energy and started putting that consistency into working out. Reached my body goals. Okay, it's been years since I've been saying that I wanted to be a certain type of body type or weight, and we are here, child. Okay, we are here. I don't even know. I wanted to get up and show you guys, but let's just stay focused on the message. So the thing is, Ayurveda, it's become very clear to me that Ayurveda is genuinely one of the best practices spiritually that I've come across. It's a 5,000-year-old Indian practice. And after I put out my Quantum Ascension workbook and tapping into it just a little bit and being open to learning more about it, the Hood Healer, some of you guys know, Imani Cohen, she did a Glamour Magic Intensive on her Substack where she went deep into Ayurveda. I was all in because I knew I was so open to learning more, and it felt like I was given the opportunity to do it with a group of people who are also like-minded, and we can all kind of do this like mass journaling and growing and evolving together. So it was a great Glamour Intensive. I had a great time. I learned so much. Not only did I do all my assignments and learn so much, but it sparked in me a deeper passion to dive more into it and learn more about it, especially considering the small changes that I've made have been so expansive in my reality. I learned how much our digestive system has a lot to do with our finances. Yes, your digestive system has a lot to do with your finances. How you eat, how you receive nourishment speaks highly to how the energy of abundance is reflected back to you. Because if you're having trouble with nourishing your body and receiving that nourishment, then externally, what's going to be reflected back to you is you're going to have trouble receiving abundance. You're going to have trouble receiving opportunities. You're going to have trouble receiving financial abundance. Okay? Security. And these are things I'm still working on, because it is work that has to be put in over time, right? You don't just come upon it and then all of a sudden it's like a new timeline. There are shifts. And then depending on the level of trauma that you have to overcome, you may take longer than others to, transmute the energy, transcend the energy. So one of the things I did learn through the Glamour Intensive with Imani is she posted a video of a Indian doctor who is a Ayurvedic practitioner, and she made it very clear that doing the online quiz that most of us do when we come across the Ayurvedic practice is not going to be your full diagnosis. You will have to attend a Ayurvedic practitioner clinic and speak to a professional and go through some physical tests, because they got to examine your hair, they got to examine your tongue, they got to test out, do a whole physical to figure out what exactly your dosha is. Okay? So, Ayurveda, Ayur means life, Veda means wisdom. Okay? So, it translates to the wisdom of life or the science of life. Your dosha is the expression of each individual's propensity to how their energy and body communicates. So everyone has their own tendency to how they process food, how they process temperature in their bodies, and what it does to you over time. So me being a Vata, potentially, that's the energy I resonate most with through doing the online quiz. Me being a Vata Pitta energy, which there are 3 doshas, let's just go over that very quickly. The 3 doshas under the Ayurvedic umbrella is the Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Vata is air and ether energy. Pitta is fire and water energy. Kapha is earth and water energy. Now, Vata, as the air and spirit energy, is it thrives in warmth, routine, nourishment, and restful environments. So, for example, like I said, I resonate most with the Vata energy. I don't thrive without rest. I can't be a part of the hustle culture, and I've never been that way, and I never understood it, because I've always been the type of person who had 2-3 jobs, and I'd work, and whenever I didn't get a chance to rest, I was not able to perform at my best. And I remember getting like, you know, so much judgment off of that, and people would just be like, you need to do more, you need to do this, and you need to do that. And it's like the whole time it was going against my own energetic signature, because what dosha means is dosha is the energy of, like I said, your energetic signature, but the etymology of dosha means to it's like a sinful energy, and it needs to go against, right? So if you are not working with your dosha energy, it works against you. Very dangerous situation. And this is scientifically proven. For thousands of years, this practice has been, you know, successful in the ways of how the Indian practices have carried their experiments with the dosha energies with different temperaments, body temperaments, through different individuals and their propensities. So being in this awareness of knowing your dosha helps you shift out of working against your body into being in harmony with your body. Now, the thing that brought me to this point in the first place was I was seeking how we can come into a space of homeostasis, where we stay in alignment with an energy, because sometimes it's, you know, easy to be in the ebb and flow of getting into abundance and then moving out of abundance, and getting into this peace and joy and then going back down, and then it's just like, you know, a roller coaster. But homeostasis is learning how to maintain the ability to stay in harmony and in balance. And homeostasis is deeply connected to your dosha, working with your natural body's temperament. Okay? Now, if you are a Pitta energy, you thrive in the environments of cooling, relaxation, and less pressure. If you are a Kapha energy, you thrive in the environment of stimulation, movement, and challenge. Now, I'm Vata. I get overstimulated easily. Even though I thrive under pressure, it puts me into a fight or flight mode and triggers my like defense mechanism. I don't thrive in spaces where I have to be under pressure. I thrive better when I'm in a space of easy ebb and flow, calm, warmth, rest, gentleness. That's how I thrive. And just because I'm able to survive in an environment of high stimulation and movement doesn't mean that it is best for me. So another thing I realized is I was using ice on my face in the risings as a beauty hack, because we're told that ice helps with inflammation. But if you are a Vata energy and your body thrives with warmth, your body thrives when you drink hot tea in the mornings and not cold water. You need room temperature water, you need earthy foods, you need soups and things that nourish your body when it comes to warmth and keeping your insides warm. You're working against your body's natural temperament. So I noticed that over time the ice was actually drying my skin out. It wasn't actually helping with inflammation. Like at first it seemed to be doing so, but over time it wasn't doing that. Like these lines under my eyes, they are hereditary, but they were so much deeper because I was using ice. Now what I switched to is using warm cloths in the morning. Face cloths, I'll put it under some warm water and I'll just like do some like warm compressions. Major shift in my skin. My skin glows like nobody's business, as you can see. Like, you know, this is from the warm compressions. And then you can take all of these doshas and how your body needs to nourish itself, and figure out what works for you, because there are different dietary plans for each dosha. Now, throughout time, you will start to notice the changes in not just your nervous system, your sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. You'll find more of a balance in that area. You'll find your nervous system becomes more regulated. And it's not to say that you don't fall out of the regulation, but you're able to go back into your regulation. And then over time, you can achieve homeostasis where you stay in your balance. Okay? So it's about even like taking your time to be easy on yourself, not be so hard on yourself, being gentle with your energy, and understanding that everything takes time. You're not going to just jump from one energy to the next. Even if you do, congratulations. But if you don't look at it as failure. Because like I said, some of us are carrying more energetic trauma that has to be cleared out than others. Okay? So your dosha is specifically your metabolic pattern and focuses very deeply on your metabolism. That's why what you eat based on your dosha is probably going to be the main thing that shifts you out of one energy into the next. And nourishing your body will help you open up to the energy of receiving. Another thing, like I said, the Glamour Intensive taught. We talked a lot about, there was a course that specifically, or not a course, we did an assignment. It was called the Law of Receptivity. Through the Law of Receptivity, I learned how important it is for us to nourish our bodies. And like, dress your plates up. When you put food into your plate, like put flowers into it, make it look pretty, sit down, don't rush how you're eating. Like, I didn't realize how fast I ate. And this came from the hustle culture, like taking a break while you're at work and scarfing your food down. Especially as a server, they have this thing where they say you eat on the go. We don't sit down and eat, we eat on the go. So you're just constantly scarfing your food down. That is survival mode. And I'm still like having to remind myself, okay, let me calm down. Let me not scarf this food down. It's like things like that expose to you how much in survival mode you are and how much you need to allow yourself to be more receptive to what is in front of you and stepping more into indulgence. So right now, I'm in the state of indulgence. I am taking my time. Okay? I used to be the person who would rush to work every time I had to go to work. Now that I'm older, I don't do that anymore. Anytime I'm going to work, I leave enough room and space and time for myself to take my time, because I was always anxious heading to work. And I didn't like the feeling. You know, anxious that, oh my God, I'm going to be late. And then half the time end up being late. Just ended up feeling bad, and it just started to shift off, not in the best mood, because I'm in survival mode. Even if I was happy, I'm still in survival mode. You know, so my nervous system is not regulated from the start of my shift, which affects my money. Then on top of that, I'm eating on the go. I'm not able to actually enjoy my food. Scarfing food down. Just complete survival mode. So you can just imagine 15 years of doing that on top of a plethora of toxic traits that I had to and still am working through. So this is why I'm saying, for all of you, being intentional about stepping into this new timeline, into this new golden age, be gentle with yourself, take your time, and be graceful with yourself. Because this is not easy work. It takes a lot to clear this energy out. And I think that just taking the first step to opening yourself up to the change, even little things like indulgence, like when you get out the shower, like don't lather yourself fast. Like, take your time with each body part. That's what I've been doing. because it signals to your body that you are safe. And once you start to feel safe, then you actually allow yourself to open up to receive. So if you're calling things in and you're wanting more of this and you're wanting more of that, your manifestations are only going to come to you in a safe environment. You have to be energetically in a safe environment by creating it for yourself. So, cracking the codes out here, y'all, because at first I really was so stumped. I took a month off of YouTube because I really needed to make sure that what I was sharing was solid. And my question was very genuine. Like, I need to understand what the next step is after you do all the chakra balancing and healing. That's not going to work for everyone. You know, everyone isn't going to be able to step into their chakra balancing and find their homeostasis. The homeostasis is going to come through a space of your energy signature, which is your dosha. So if you can figure out what your dosha is, I'm going to actually post this on my YouTube, okay? And there's going to be a link. You can do a quiz, figure out what your dosha is, and open yourself up to your full level of abundance. And this is not some like bullshit thing I'm trying to tell you to like go and do because it sounds good. This is based off of real work I'm putting in and experience. Real work that I'm putting in and experiencing for myself, and sharing with you guys that yes, this is how you get to your homeostasis, because how else would it be? If you're eating according to your body's temperament, if you are putting yourself in the environment according to your body's temperament, if you are giving to yourself what your body needs, what your spirit needs, the vitamins, the nutrients, then how else, what other direction is that going to go except into the space of alignment and balance, you know? Especially considering how much your nervous system depends on your metabolic tendencies. So when you consider how much your metabolic tendencies affect you, then you can actually do the work that needs to be done to shift out of the imbalanced energy into balanced energy. Now that I shared all of that, don't worry if you missed this. I'm gonna post it on my page so you guys can catch this. I need to get on some of y'all asses. Collectively, a lot of y'all are struggling to find your self-worth, find your peace, find your joy. And like I said, everybody has a different level of their journey that they have to transcend through. But I think that those who know better need to do better. And collectively, there is a deficiency when it comes to our self-value and the work we're actually putting into ourselves to take ownership of the abundance coming towards us. I think a lot of us are fumbling energetically what's coming towards us and collectively causing the entire Earth's frequency to stay in a low vibration. Yes, there's so much war going on in the world because collectively, as a collective consciousness, considering we are one, everybody's operating out of a low vibrational, not everybody, but a lot of y'all, I'll put myself in there too because I have my moments. A lot of us are sitting in a low frequency of fear, a low frequency of our fleshy desires, the desires of our flesh, sitting in a low frequency of self-doubt and just being lost. And as much as I understand how difficult it is to just, because I'm not telling you guys to look away. I'm not saying that you should just look away from the atrocities that are happening in the world. But you are not being of service to yourself and to the collective energy worldwide if you become a part of the frequency that's already low. You raise the frequency by doing the work on yourself. You raise the frequency by shifting how you view your path and how you step into your power. That is exactly how it works. So if you're in a space of looking at the condition that this world is in and it troubles you, genuinely troubles you, and you're not doing the work necessary to actually become a higher frequency and step into your power, and or become more in tune with your energetic signature and serving the purpose that you came here to serve, then you're a part of the problem. You are a part of the reason why the frequency is low, because if we collectively came together and started doing the work, could you imagine how much that would shift the Earth's frequency? It takes one person to start meditating, to shift the frequency in their environment. This has been scientifically proven. You can send out electromagnetic frequencies just from meditation as one person and shift the frequencies of the closest things and people in proximity to you. Yes, you can do that. So imagine if thousands of us were to do the same thing, millions of us were to do the same thing. I believe that's why they said we are going to enter an era, an age of the most millionaires ever, because a lot of us are actually deciding this is the time. So you can do that too. But I think in this timeline, in this era, the people who are going to become millionaires are going to be the people who actually are doing the work. It's not like the old timeline where people were becoming millionaires off of bullshit or taking advantage of people, stepping on toes. That's not the frequency anymore. The frequency is now you will be receiving your abundance, your tangible abundance, through doing the inner work. So your abundance that you're creating spiritually and energetically is what's going to be materialized in the physical realm. That's exactly how it's working now. That old timeline of stealing abundance from people, that's over. It's over. We've shifted out of that. That is the old paradigm. That's why we're now in the golden age. This is the golden era. There are so many new leaders that you're going to see on the horizon that are stepping up to the forefront. And I'm so determined to be one of them. Absolutely, because I'm so passionate. I'm so passionate about this. All I do when it comes to my family is this. I just talk to them. I find information. I learn about it. I experience it, and I share it. So all they hear me do is chat all the time. So I genuinely love doing this because I genuinely want to see all of us experience this new golden age. It's available, so why not? Why not be a part of it? And it's like, you don't have to stop having a good time and stop having fun, but it's about how you do it. And the work, it's like, okay, if you're having a good time and you're having fun, find out the intention of why you're having a good time and having fun. Most of y'all are having a good time and having fun because you're running from the thing that you're supposed to be facing. You have a good time you have a good time because of escapism. Escapism is the reason why you go out. Because you're escaping yourself. You're escaping your traumas. You don't want to sit with yourself. You can't sit with your thoughts. So you go out, you drink, and you do drugs because it feels better than your reality. It's better than your timeline that you're on. And instead of going within and addressing those demons, you want to escape it. So you go out. That's backwards. That's how you will end up being in the future with nothing to show but experiences to talk about when you were younger and having a great time. Nothing to fall back on but that. Just pissing away your life. But the people who are in a space of doing the work and going out because they're rewarding themselves for the work that they know they've done, but then going back to doing the work again, and then whenever you do go out, you're doing it because you're rewarding yourself, or you're collaborating, or you're looking for opportunities, and you're doing things like that. You're stewarding your gifts. That's gonna be what you see people get rewarded for. Absolutely, I promise you. So if you're not excited about how that sounds, I think that will tell you what timeline you're on. I think that will speak to exactly what timeline that you're on. But this is not a fearful message. There's no reason to be fearful, because this is 1000% a decision you can make for yourself based off of your own free will. Recognizing your power, recognizing your gifts, recognizing how you can actually choose to show up. Your 20s, like I said, is your time to experience things and mess up. The wise man stumbles 77 times. I think that's the number. The wise man stumbles 77 times, and I believe that's what your 20s are about. And then you get into your 30s, and it's time to buckle up. Put into practice all of those experiences you've had in your 20s, so that when you hit your 40s, you can sail. And again, that may not be your timeline. That might not be your timeline. It may be you sailing in your 30s. You might be sailing in your 20s. But I honestly believe that a lot of people who've come upon abundance in their 20s might find themselves having to scale back and go in to do the work, because they received their abundance so early in life and didn't spend their time focusing on their internal health and work, because they had the financial or the material validation. Everything was material for them. So you might find people who had that material validation, when they get into their 30s, are now scaling back on that and having to go within and do that work. So that's why I say the timeline could be different. Okay? So wherever you are, wherever you're at, just start there and be so gentle with yourself. Be graceful with yourself, and just start doing the right thing, because this is the only way we're going to be able to shift the Earth's frequency energetically from a low vibrational state into the highest vibrational state, which I think is naturally already happening, but you choose your timeline based on what you choose to do with your path. So if you want to be on the timeline of fear and lack and war, then that's what you're going to be on, if that's what you focus on. If you want to be on the timeline of peace, of embodiment, of joy, of ascension, that's what you'll be on, that's what you'll experience, if that's what you focus on. We get to choose. We get to choose. I know some people say like, oh, the timeline will close out and you won't get the opportunity to jump if you don't jump. I don't think that applies for everybody. Like, come to think of it, I don't think that applies at all. I think that you can jump anytime you decide to do the work. It doesn't matter. I think that, like, what we're all here to do, God is so graceful and cares so much about our purpose that anytime we decide, wherever you are on your path, on your journey, anytime you decide, now is the time I want to jump, and you put your pedal to the metal you put your foot down, you pull yourself up by your bootstraps, trust me, your life will change and you will shift and you will jump. We see it happen all the time. There's no such thing as it's too late. You no longer have access to your abundance. You can lose time because time waits for no man. That is a fact. But you have to understand that your abundance will always be available to you anytime you decide to receive it. So just decide to receive it. Decide to be in the space of receptivity when it comes to your gifts, stewarding your gifts, and being open to shifting and changing your lifestyle. Okay, y'all. So it's been a while since I've been on this live. I love talking to you guys. I forgot how long. It's been so long I forgot how much I love talking to you guys, because I feel like sometimes I have so much information that I want to share. It just feels like this is one of the ways I could easily be less stimulated. It's by talking to you guys and not holding it all to myself. That's not what I'm supposed to be doing. So I need to share more with you guys, but I do share a lot on my YouTube. I am back after the 1 month break I took. It was a break, but it was more so like waiting for spiritual guidance to do the next thing. I don't want to just pump content just because, like, you know. So I had to honor the fact that I needed to take the pause. So follow me on my YouTube, subscribe I should say. It's Divine Feminine, DVNEFEMI9. It is the Divine Dive podcast, and I share everything on there. And we are now in the era of homeostasis, let's just call it that. Okay. The wisdom of life. So yes, I will post this on my page and probably on my YouTube, because I love this video. This is a great conversation, and I'm gonna go deeper into Ayurveda. You're gonna see me talking a lot about the doshas and aligning it to the chakras and the work that I'm already doing. I feel like I'm gonna be taking it in a different direction than how everyone else is taking it, and finding my own new meaning, paving my own path to how Ayurveda is expressed, because I feel like something else is opening up, a different realm has opened up, and I somehow got access to it. So I'm excited to share that. Okay, I love you guys so much. Peace. Aligned, activated, ascended.